Hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix and welcome to yet another AstroBite. And today is the 30th of January and it's a rather important day astrologically because our planet Uranus, our planet of shock, surprise, the unexpected, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, aviation, technology, internet, and all sorts of AI technological developments, turns direct in Taurus. This is a big deal because these outer planets move very slowly. And Uranus turning direct, we are all going to feel a shift in energies, as if somebody has just taken their foot off the brake. And even though we may not actually be rolling forward yet, there will be a sense of we're going, we're moving, things are changing. And because it's Uranus, things are changing in such an unpredictable and unexpected way. It's super exciting energy. It's Taurus. It's Taurus about value, money, the economy, our feelings about ourselves, our self-worth, our self-esteem. You may be changing in ways that people are really surprised by. You may be the one that is shocking people awake or waking people up through the way you see things now because you've changed your mind about a lot of things in life and see things differently now. Because you know what's interesting is Taurus is a fixed energy. I should know I'm Sun Taurus, and Uranus currently is conjunct my Sun in Taurus in my 10th house. And it very much is pushing me to wake up, change, and be unpredictable. So that I would say a typical Taurus behavior is, no, I always have fish and chips on a Friday. No, I don't want anything different because it's Friday. I always have fish and chips. That kind of fixed way of doing things, a kind of, it's my routine. I always go to bed by 10 o'clock. I'm always asleep by 10:30. And obviously within the bounds of life and whatever we do in life, some of these kind of loose rules we adhere to. And we do have routine, and we often feel very comforted by routine. But with Uranus conjunct the Sun, and a lot of you Taurians will have been experiencing this, as will Leos and Aquarius with the square to their Sun or ascendant, and also Scorpio by opposition will be experiencing it. So Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius and Taurus are really being shaken awake by this Uranus energy. So you are going to feel it most with Uranus going direct in Taurus. Now, the exciting thing is that it's going to move into Gemini in July on the 9th. And this is the beginning of it changing signs. It doesn't actually fully change signs till 2026, but this is the beginning. And so for Taurus natives or Leo natives, Aquarius natives, Scorpio natives, or if you have your rising sign at a degree that is being affected by Uranus, and at the moment Uranus is at 23 degrees of Taurus, so anything at 23 degrees of Leo, of Scorpio, of Aquarius, you will be feeling this. You will be feeling this energy. My advice, which is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm super glad I'm an astrologer, because I'm learning to be flexible and move with this energy and allow myself to go with the direction that Uranus is trying to push me into and not resist it. Because the thing is with these outer planets, if we resist them, they will do something. They will produce a physical event in our lives to throw us off course, to make us think to make us go within. That particularly happens with transits from the planet Saturn, the planet of restrictions and timing. But Uranus, when it first came into Taurus, I thought, right, now how am I going to deal with this? I think I've got to be innovative, allow myself to wake up, allow myself to change, allow myself to do things differently, allow myself to move out of my comfort zone. And you can apply all of these things to your own energies if you are Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius or Taurus, and to allow myself to, in a sense, Uranus to be my chariot, Uranus to take me where it wants to take me. And it may take me to destinations that I have never envisaged. And that is exciting. And yet, I would say as a Taurian, I was, or have always been, a little bit wary of surprises and doing things outside of my comfort zone. People that know me would say, oh God, all the time. But I'm changing because Uranus has been in Taurus now for, 7-8 years, and it's been conjunct my sun for a good 2 or 3 years. And when a planet, and I've said this before, leaves finally from its conjunction with your planet, with your sun or your moon, for example, or your ascendant, they're the three that really get majorly affected, then it leaves you with some kind of gift. Now with Uranus, it's going to be surprising. It's not going to be what you think. Whatever you think you're doing, just be prepared that it'll work out differently. It will not probably unfold the way you think it will. So I'm making all these plans in my life to make changes and go in different directions. But at the same time, I'm working very hard with my psyche and soul to stay within the flexibility of allowing myself to be thrown off course and to go in a different direction and trust and have faith that that's the way I'm supposed to go, to be inventive and creative with the outcomes of what my intentions are. Because at the end of the day, the divine does know better than me. The divine knows better than all of us, and it will determine how and when things change for the better for all of us. So Uranus going direct is a big thing. It goes retrograde in September on the 6th. So we have it in Gemini hovering at the sort of 0 and 1 degree. And remember, Gemini is an air sign like Uranus. It's about communication and thought. We are going to have a literal explosion of ideas on the international stage to do with technology and with social media. I think social media is going to go through a massive overhaul and change. There is going to be more freedom of speech. And if there are certain platforms that prevent that, then people are going to start migrating away from them and going to the platforms, the social media platforms, where they can say what they want to say. So I think there's going to be a more diverse choice of social media platforms. So with Uranus going retrograde, I tuned out for a minute, retrograde on the 6th of September, it then moves back into Taurus on the 9th of November. And then it won't actually go direct. I think it's not till next January, and then by February, March, I think it is, it actually moves into Gemini fully. And for anyone that has planets in Taurus around 23, 24 degrees, it will not come back to that degree because my sun is at 24 degrees and basically I might feel a little extra oomph. There may be an extra little surprise that comes up towards the end of the year and the beginning of next. But basically it'll be a smoother passage. And remember, interestingly, Uranus, of course, rules astrology and it rules aviation. And I think we're going to see huge leaps forward in the aviation industry and travel and the type of fuels that are used for air travel. So that's going to be sort of interesting to see how it unfolds. And we also need to look at the sun, because the sun, of course, today with this new moon and the new moon are trining Jupiter. And so there is some luck and opportunity within this Aquarian new moon, but I think we have very much got to be careful, as I said at the beginning, about what we wish for. Because there is something here about making sure, and I've said this before, we remain the masters of AI, or the mistress, or the personage in charge of AI, rather than it being in charge of us. We must guard against complacency and laziness, because humans are innately lazy. We're really very much like cats. If we have a chance to just sit and do nothing, then we'll most probably do it. And what I talked about in the ASTROBITE yesterday, which is what I'm going to pick the thread up of today, is that because I think technology and AI are going to take over a lot of the more mundane things that have been using different parts of our brain, it's going to free up our brains to explore and look at different areas of the brain. This is going to happen organically as our consciousness its frequency builds up, it raises itself up, and we start to think outside the box to do with the and I don't want to use the word spiritual because it taints it with the wrong energy. It's metaphysical ways of communicating. Telepathy, intuition, gut feeling, psychic phenomena. We are going to be able to master these things at will as we start to recode through this energy of Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus moving into Gemini. We code our DNA. It changes to compensate for this energy. We have to remember that the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. I think now we are getting the psychological and sort of metaphysical revolution, which is going to be incredibly exciting. Now I'm going to go on to our word for the day. And I thought, how could it not be anything but invention? Because this is what we need to start opening our minds to. If you think of an idea, and a creative idea, write it down. Keep a list of the ideas you come up with that could be innovative and different and creative. Because I think, everything is born out of our imagination. Everything is born out of a dream. And invention comes from something we dream into reality. So Plato said necessity is the mother of invention. And of course, it's true, isn't it? Because that's a timeless reminder that invention comes from addressing our needs. Oh, we need sanitation. We better let's have pipes from the houses that go to a main pipe in the main road. Oh, that's a good idea. We can connect every house. But what are we going to do with it at the end? Oh, it can all go into a collection sort of pit, and then we filter it off somewhere else. So, yes, necessity is the mother of invention. Thomas Edison said, to invent, you need a good imagination and a pile of junk. I love that. And he was emphasizing the importance of creativity and resourcefulness, which is all part of that process of invention. Nikola Tesla said, "Invention is the most important product of man's creative brain. The ultimate purpose is the complete mastery of mind over the material world." My goodness, wasn't he ahead of his time? Isn't that what I've just been saying about Uranus moving into Gemini? This is where we start using this in a very different way. Wow. So Isaac Newton said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." And what he was doing here was acknowledging how invention is built upon the ideas of others. Someone called Edwin Land said, "An essential aspect of creativity is not being afraid to fail." Oh my goodness, that is such a truth. You know, it's risk and persistence. And it's so important in that inventive process. Alan Kay said, "The best way to predict the future is to invent it," because that's a call to action to create the world we want. And that's what we really have to try and do. And what we have to do is work with the tools that we've been given or the people we voted in. Because like it or not, we have a set of tools we have to work with. We can work with it or we can work against it where we shoot ourselves in the foot. Unless we have enough of a majority to overturn a minority belief. John Dewey said, "Every great advance in science has issued from a new audacity of imagination." And it's true. A really creative, bold imagination is what is the fuel for invention. Thomas Edison said, "There's a way to do it better. Just find it." So this challenges us to constantly seek innovation and improvement in everything we do. Me doing my videos, me, how I create everything, how I move forward with this. I try to constantly develop my skills and my technological skills, because I will get very bored if I don't make changes, and so will you. And Theodore Levitt said, "Creativity is thinking up new things. Innovation is doing new things." So that is the differentiation between invention as both an idea and the execution of it. And finally, we've got William Blake. And what he said was, "What is now proved was once only imagined." And that I love, because it brings me back to what I mentioned, I think, yesterday about the telepathy tapes. And I think it's interesting that they call them the telepathy tapes and not records, or, because they're using such a dated, old-fashioned word, so that you kind of sit up and listen. You used to think the telepathy tapes, well, it would be the telepathy MP4 or the telepathy video or podcasts. And I think what is really interesting, and I'll never forget this, but I can remember even when I was like in my early teens and kind of like before pre-teenager, 12, 13, 14, saying, "I know telepathy is a real thing. We just haven't found the equation to explain it yet. And I'm going to be around when they do. That was my intention way back when I was around 12 or 13. I just knew it. And you know what? It looks like, touch wood, I might be right. And that is super exciting. Uranus direct. Yes, we want this. Bring it on. So, on that note, thank you so much for joining me for this AstroBite. Thank you to all the new subscribers. You're awesome. And please remember to like and comment, share. Sharing is a great way to get it out there and up in the algorithms of AI. And if you've not subscribed, it would be awesome if you could do. Thank you so much. And in the meantime, I will see you again very soon. And happy Uranus Direct Day. Bye for now. Bye.